What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you another one, and this one is the Peripheral, episode 4 predictions. Now, I know it says episode 3 on the thing on the thumbnail. I messed that up. I will change that later. But we're here talking about episode 4 of this Amazon TV series called The Peripheral. It's a brand new show. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. Go on Amazon Prime. It's free if you have Amazon Prime. And why wouldn't you have Amazon Prime? In fact, it's most likely the best of all these streaming services you can get. Why? Because everybody uses Amazon and you get Prime if you just sign up as Prime for free. So why wouldn't you pay for something like that that is free? It just makes no sense not to have it. I've said it a long time ago, many a time, that this is the streaming app that if I could only have one, this would be the one that I would have. And that's what I'm talking about. It's got a bunch of great shows on it. But this show, I'm really feeling this show right now. Elamar will be joining me, not this week, starting next week. She'll be here. She couldn't make it today. I had to reschedule it to this day. It was supposed to be done every Wednesday, but I felt that it'd be better if it was Thursday since the episode drops on Friday. If she wasn't able to reschedule it, I had to do that. That's my fault. So she'll be here next week. So you just get me this week, and we're going to talk about this show, The Peripheral, episode 4. Hopefully, this is something that you're into and something that you want to watch, and we'll be back with you every week doing this. Let me highlight some of the people that are here rocking with us right now. What up to the imaginary realm rocking with us? Kristen Oles, what's going on with you? Danny McKay, what's going on with you? We have a bunch of people here, and I'm glad that there are some people who have watched the show and enjoyed this show also. All right, so let's get right into the show. What is the Peripheral? If you're not familiar with the show, you're just trying to check it out, it's hard for me to truly wrap it up in a nutshell. But basically, I would say, wait a second, this is wrong. This is the way it's supposed to be. All right, no, it's supposed to be like this. All right, there you go. So what is? I knew it was looking weird for a second. I was like, why am I so goddamn close on this screen? Ain't supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like that. So it's about time travel, kind of. It's about futuristic stuff. It's a great sci-fi show. It's hard for me to explain it all the way, so I'm not going to go into it. We're just going to really get into what's going to happen in episode 4 and everything that I see that's going down. I want you to tell me what you think is going to happen in episode 4, and we'll kick some ideas back and forth and everything else. But first, we have to deal with everybody in the show. So we got Flynn Fisher and also Burton Fisher. Those are the two stars of the show. Most of the show, they're the ones doing all this. It was Burton that they first contacted because they thought that it was him playing the game, but it truly was his sister Flynn that was doing it. And now she's involved. And I think that may have a lot to do with this plot. Them thinking that it was him in the beginning and now realizing that it was her, because we know that before the dude got killed, the assassin, last week, he said that you took something from her, and then that's when his throat was cut before he could say exactly what it was that was taken. So what was it that was taken, and who took it? Was it Burton and hit what is Burton, or was it Flynn and her peripheral? Now, a peripheral is basically, if people not know what a peripheral is basically, I would say, an avatar of a person, right? It's your avatar. And you see them used in very interesting ways in the future all the time. You know what I mean? It's basically, it showed that sometimes in the future that it's possible for somebody to have their girlfriend as a peripheral, and if she can't make it, that she just jump inside this robot's body, and then you can just hang out with her that way. Now, listen, to me, that's a great idea. I wish they had things like that, because I would use one to go to work every day. I would never show up. I'd send my peripheral out there in this world to go shopping. I'd send him to go out there to go to work. I said my peripheral do everything. In fact, I just chill in my room for the rest of my life, most likely. Sitting here drinking a Rolling Rock, having a good Thursday night. Hopefully, you're having a good Thursday night and everything else. My man Phil the Issues guy is in there. He has to catch up, I do believe, before he could join us on the stream and everything else. And as soon as he does, I'm sure he'll be joining us on the stream. I'm sure he'll be joining us in the stream too. Black Butterfly says, let's show that. Hold up. Says, what was the pyramid thing that she held to her eye? So there was two different type of pyramids things that we seen here. You know, there was the actual pyramid that was inside the triangle that was inside of the woman's eye when she was using to control the peripheral, right? We've seen that from the future and everything else. So when we look at the pyramid thing that she was holding to her eye, it's hard to tell, but I do believe it has something to do with it because I don't think that they would just show that real quick for her and then all of a sudden hold that. So that is something that we'll have to come back to exactly to see exactly what that thing was that you held to her eye at the time and everything else. You know, people, I'm ready to see this. You know what I mean? But it's a very interesting thing. I do believe when we look at the situation and we hear them say that you took something from her and she wants it back, what is it? I think that we could, you know what I mean? I'm thinking that Phil said, let's show it on the screen. He's like, I finished the 3 episodes like an hour or so ago. I'm just processing it before I can really talk about it. It is a lot, Phil. You know what I mean? It's a lot going on there. And I think, this show has a chance to be something. It truly does. I know that a lot of times it is a lot of these shows, they come in and they're not good. You know what I mean? And I understand the pyramid that Althea had held to Flynn's head. Yeah, it's impossible to say exactly what that is, and that's what I was saying. The closest thing that I can get from it was the pyramid that was inside of the black lady's eye when she was controlling the peripheral that killed the assassin. That's the only thing that I can't tell you exactly what that one that Althea held to Flynn said. I don't know. I don't think anyone could say exactly what it was, but that's what it reminds me of, the pyramid that was inside of her eye when she was controlling the peripheral. So it could be something else. I can't tell you what that is. I have no idea, but it does remind me of that scene. And I think that the way that they put that out there, that they showed her with the peripheral, with the triangle eyes. They never showed that for anyone else controlling the peripheral. When Flynn controls her, you don't see a triangle in Flynn's eye. She mostly has her eyes closed during the whole time. But when they're in the future, you did see the triangle in that black lady's eye when she was controlling her peripheral, right? So I don't think that that's a throwaway thing that they just showed it there for a second. I think they showed that on purpose. And then we seen that the pyramid that Flynn held to Althea's head and everything. So it's hard to say exactly what's going on uh right there. But that's what it reminds me of, when you deal with that. So as I was saying, she said that he said you took something from her. Now, when I look at this lady, when I look at her, I see her, she had the bees attack the one lady, all right, in the scientist. Unsure exactly where they were at, it seems like she runs that place. And bees are very significant to me. When I see bees on television, it reminds me of certain things. It reminds me of of people being extinct, because that's what right now in our time, that's what people are scared of. They're scared of the bees going extinct. And we know that there's not that many people in the future. So I'm thinking that it could have something to do with the cure that was given to Flynn's mother. Because if we deal with the cure that was given to Flynn's mother, and it cured her of seemingly all these diseases, that everything she had, she could see again. She's no longer sick. She's just good to go. Now, what if somehow someone gets a hold of her blood and they talked about it. They said, what we can't let the doctor, what's the doctor gonna say? Or what's the doctor gonna do if you get a hold of this? Now, what if someone gets a hold of her blood, of her antibodies inside of her blood? And then all of a sudden now there's a cure for diseases that shouldn't have been cured in the human race. And now all these humans that should have died are not dead and now they're alive. What if it's a situation like I have the House of the Dragon thing above my head. Let's get that out of there because this has nothing to do with that. All right, that's better. All right, so what if it's a situation like that, and that now all these people are still alive? Now that they're all alive throughout the world because they got her blood, all these people are alive. Now there is not that much resources to go around for everybody. And now if there's not all these resources to go around for all these people, there's mutiny. And this is how the world turned to what it is. So what if she's trying to prevent all of that, everything that's going on? What if he's trying to prevent that from happening in the future? So we're talking about the future here, right? Time travel. It's time travel, right? So what happened to her mother? We don't know how that affects the future. We're talking about the future, right? So that is what I'm talking about when you deal with the peripheral. Also, we have to deal with these peripherals, who truly is the peripheral and who isn't. There's going to come a time where you're going to have to figure out who truly is a human being and who is a peripheral. And I do believe that there are peripherals going in the Flynn's timeline. I think that there's some there, without a shadow of a doubt. I think there's some there. And I can only see one person if we're talking about who could be a peripheral in the real time right now, and that would be, to me, Billy Ann. I think Billy Ann, there's something about Billy Ann's asking way too many questions. So you got Flynn going there giving her information. You got her telling her boyfriend that he needs to go figure out and give her information. Why is Billy Ann wanting to do all this information? Why does she care so much? It just it doesn't fit right to me that this woman cares so much, Billy Ann. So I think Billy Ann not only is working for them, I think Billy Ann has been murdered and replaced with a peripheral. I don't think it's Billy Ann anymore. I think she's been replaced with a peripheral. And I think they're going to, and I'm telling you, in this show, somebody in that timeline, in the current timeline, is a peripheral. If not one, more than one person is. Guaranteed. Now, you may look and you say, hey, what's going on here? How could they bring a peripheral back to that time? So we haven't seen them actually do any time travel physically. Most of the time travel that we have seen, it's all basically mentally, right? It's mental time travel, right? You can put your consciousness into a peripheral and it doesn't matter about the time. That's what's going on here. So how would they be able to do that? Well, if we look at the cars, the car that we seen transport the people, right? Transport the people that attacked Flynn's brother and all of his men, right? That car had some type of cloaking technology, right? We've seen a lot of cloaking technology in that car. It looked like a regular car, but it had a bunch of cloaking technology. When we seen that nosy ass cop find it, it obviously wasn't of that time period because he didn't know that there was a cloaking technology like that, right? He was shocked to see it. So we know, because we know that they're highly advanced. We've seen the things in their arms and stuff. So we know it's a whole different situation there. But this technology itself was shocking to that cop. He didn't know what was going on to it. So I think what's going on is that they told them how to make that cloaking technology. All right, so we see them, they have the ability to transfer stuff. They can have the ability to tell someone, this is what you need to get and apply to your car to make this cloaking technology, to make your car have this cloaking technology. Because it seemed like a regular Audi. Didn't seem that it was a big deal with this Audi. It seemed like a regular Audi. So I do believe that if they did that and they were able to transfer transfer this technology, just tell them what's going on, right? Tell them how it's going down, then it's a possibility that they're able to tell people exactly what to do to set up a peripheral of their own. And I do believe that this nosy ass woman is 100% a peripheral without a shadow of a doubt. Billy Ann Baker, without a doubt, is a peripheral. And I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, she's not going to be the only one. Is Wilf a peripheral? We don't know. Is if Wilf is one. Now, it would be weird if Wilf was one. But I could not see. I think what's going to happen is some people are going to die, and it's really just, and you're going to think this person is dead, and it's really just going to be a peripheral of this person. I think that's what they're going to do. I think that's what we're going to see when it's all. I see everything when it's all said and done, and everything else like that. Peter Griffin. Let's go through what people are trying to say. We got Peter Griffin. He's saying right here, Dan Flynn's going to have to take out a friend. Yeah, she's going to have to die. She's gonna have to die. We got Phil. Phil is saying, I think Wolf is the one to protect himself from the company. So when he dies, he's actually going to be alive, and he's just protecting himself into the body. Yeah, I could see Wolf doing that 100%, having a peripheral of himself right now and going around just to be safe. Now it's weird when you see it, like the whole peripheral thing is weird to me. Let's go through it real quick and talk about exactly the one scene when they ran into the cop. Let's go through that scene because that was very interesting, that scene. So they run into the cop, right? And the cop knows that there's something going on, that this is not a properly registered peripheral. So then Wolf, whatever, Wolf, say Wolf, because I like Wolf better. So then Wolf goes through this whole spiel, as Peter Griffin is saying, a goddamn Jedi mind trick to a robot. And then she had to ask, can I leave now? He granted her permission. And then that's when she bounced out the box. Now, what happens? What would have happened? Can they trap your physical essence in a peripheral? Because why did she have to ask permission? Why couldn't she just leave right then? Why couldn't she say, you know what, I'm out, whoop, and just bounced? Why couldn't she do that? Because you would think that would be the easiest thing to do. Oh, the cops are onto me. I'm out. Take the headset off and you're out. But it seemed like something else is going on there. Like, can you get trapped in your peripheral? Can your body, your mental state get trapped in there and you can't leave at all? Because why did she have to ask for permission to get out? It truly, I didn't get that. So I think that they can trap you inside of your peripheral and you're stuck. And that's what would have happened. Because if it didn't go down like that, I think that she would have just been like, oh, bye, whoop, and that shit would have just turned into the robot. Because we've seen the peripheral without a human inside of it, walking around, talking, and everything else. So why wouldn't they do that? Avatar drops is saying, but then the avatar. I'm sorry. Betray King says, but then the avatar drops confiscated. I don't know if that is enough for them to risk it that much. They confiscate the avatar. That guy seems to have who's Wolf. I can't think of his name right now. Seems to have an immense amount of money. I think they could have made another one. I don't think that's enough. I think it has to be something else. Like he was really afraid for her. And he told her specifically, you got to ask permission. Can I go now? And he has to let you go. So it's very weird. Atia Atia says she wouldn't let her out when that eye was coming out. I think only a few can trap them. Mm, that eye shit was gruesome. That eye shit was gruesome, man. It truly was. It truly was. It really had me going and everything else. So, so what do we know? We do believe from here, talking about it right now, that it's possible that you can be trapped inside of your peripheral. And we see that your peripheral, whatever happens to it, affects your real body, right? Affects your body in real, whatever happens to that peripheral. If you get punched in the face, if you get kissed, you feel that like it's really happening to you. So that is what we know about these peripherals so far they've given us. I don't think they've given us anything. If anyone else has anything else that they know that these peripherals can do, that we know. We also know that the main chick, that she was able to see through her peripheral's eyes. She was already synced up with that peripheral. And she could hear everything that was going on in that room when she was doing her assassination, right? And her peripheral was just didn't look anything like her. It was just a straight robot. Just a straight robot and everything. And so I'll say this right here. This is written on the book. It's based on the book. I've never read the book, and I'm not going to read the book. I'm going to go with it just the way it is, and just find and just watch it from episode to episode. I think it's better that way. So I don't want to know anything. If anyone has read the book, I don't want to know anything about any book spoilers. All right. Let's just go for it week after week. We will be here every week right now. And I'll be here joined by most likely Phil the Issues Guy, and Elamar will definitely be here doing this show every Thursday. And we'll talk about the episode that was up before and our predictions for the upcoming episode, which drops every Friday. And I'm enjoying the show. Hopefully you're enjoying the show, and hopefully I think it deserves. I'm interested in seeing this show get a season 2 already, because I think that, though to me it could be a little bit better, I think it's going to get there. I think it just needs, just like Open Range just got a season 2. you know so I think that this show deserves to get a season 2 so we can keep going, because I think it's going to get even better. I can't wait to see what goes on tomorrow's episode and everything else and all that. I also did like the Jon Snow drop. Someone, I put it in my video, Jon Snow. I was like, oh, for you Game of Thrones fans, they dropped Jon Snow. And someone in my comments section said, it wasn't Jon Snow was a scientist. It's not the guy from Game of Thrones. Everyone understands that, homie. Everyone understood that. That's not what I was saying. The name itself was done for a drop for Jon Snow. They named this dude Jon Snow, said his name was Jon Snow at this time because of that. There's no doubt that they had that name because of Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. Obviously, these are the people who made Westworld, right? That was on HBO. So it would be plausible for them to drop a name right there about a Game of Thrones actor, a show that was on HBO. I felt like it was speaking to me specifically when they did that. Like, Tony, you need to, like, I was saying, should I cover this show? And then they did the Jon Snow drop to say, all right, Tony, yeah, you should be. You should be. All right, let's keep going on about what's going on in this show. So it's hard to pick a lot of predictions for the show because we don't have anything to go on from we don't have a preview. They don't give us no goddamn previews for the next episode. So let's just go on. Let's talk a little bit. I'll go on Burton first. All right. So when I look at Burton's kill crew, you seen that Burton bought this place. He's spending a significant amount of money that he's getting. He bought this place. He's 3D printing guns. He has an arsenal. He has a bunch of bodies that are buried on his mother's property right now. Now, we don't know if those people that were killed are actually humans. We don't know if all those people were peripherals too that came. We have no idea. We do know that the peripheral bonding is just like the bonding inside of his arm that he has with his teammates, right? Which is what they call a haptic drift. If you start to fall in love or caring with somebody and everything. So we do know that it's a more a higher form of what he has, a more advanced form of that. They just tightened up that technology later on in the future, right? So we don't know if the people that he came to kill him are actually humans. They buried them. We don't know if they would have gave us a clue like these bodies don't stink as bad, or they could have said, "Hey, these bodies are stinking. We got to get them out of here." You know, they specifically said they were going to burn them, right? And then Flynn said, "No, just bury them." Now, if they burned them, that would let you know if they were or they wouldn't. And he specifically said, "We're not going to burn. Don't burn." And made them not burn them, just bury them. Right? So these may not have been humans. These could have been some peripherals going down here that went back, that came back to them. Could have been. And that's why they're buried. And the fact that they're buried, you never know. These motherfuckers may find a way to dig themselves out of this fucking hole. That's how we would know for sure. If somehow they were able to link up. Now, by them killing those people, the peripherals, did they kill the people on the other side? Did they kill? Well, Black Butterfly saying he thinks they seen blood. It happened that night, the actual battle. And that's something. Do we know if these peripherals bleed? The ones with the skin. Do we know if they have some type of layer of blood? Do we know that for sure? Well, when we seen the arm, right, when she pulled her hand off and pulled the skin back, it seemed to be some type of stuff there, some type of lubricant when they did the Terminator hand pull off, right? It did seem like there was some type of lubricant. So there could be some type of little bit of in between what could look like blood, but could be some type of lubricant going on in there. So I have to go back and check it out and see exactly if they're all. Maybe it's not all of them. Maybe it was two, but it seemed to me it was very dark when it went down, and it happened at night. That could have been a reason. Imaginary Realm is saying that they said they picked up the bounty. They picked up a bounty, so I figured they were human like Pickett. So they could have been they could be human. It could be one peripheral in the group with them. Or they could be what the hell? Now the House of the Dragon thing is underneath. Didn't I get rid of it? This thing gonna go away. I thought I got rid of that thing. Yeah. How'd that happen? I didn't even realize it's crawling on the bottom the whole time. I didn't even realize this shit's it's haunting me. All right. So they seem to be military, were they ex-military? They were shitty ex-military. They couldn't have been, it seemed to be, but they couldn't truly be because they got their ass kicked by a military unit. When they went up against the military unit, right? They got their ass kicked. They got wiped out pretty quick. And you would think if they were in the military that they would have that shit in their arm too, right? And they would have been able to communicate and fight better. But Burton and his boys kicked the shit out of them and kicked the shit out of them pretty fast. So I don't know. I'm gonna assume they were the way they were dressed, they were military, but if they were, they weren't very good. They weren't like Burton's group. Now we heard Burton say that what they do when they pick these people out, and they put what is it, the haptics, that they put them in the arm, that they do this to people that are in towns that are friends already because it makes it easier for them to communicate with each other. And that's the people who get these haptics and everything. And that's why him and his boys are all from the same town and they all got it together because they're all like a working machine, like one machine when they do. And I like the whole haptic situation. I think that was a listen, I like the show. There may not be a lot of people who like it, but I do. I do. And I think there's a lot of stuff going on there. And it'll be a lot easier for me to talk about a lot of stuff. Once I get my co-host in here, it'll be a lot easier for me to go back and forth. For me to hold down the whole program by myself, it's a little bit hard. All right, let's go. Let's go through here. So it says Sharice Newland died in the Avatar, but survived. May have some traumatic side effect on the person, but nothing viable. All right, so her avatar, her it seems different. That one seemed, I don't know if it was just because it looked like a robot more than the other ones when that they have the actual look of the person. But that one seemed different. Again, that one she had a triangle in her eye when she was controlling it. The other ones don't have the triangle in the eye. She didn't die when when it got shut down. She felt a little bit of wounds, but it wasn't the same exact feeling that you see when Flynn gets hit. It was Flynn getting hit was much more dramatic. When she was getting hit, her whole body when she was in the chair was like Charisse was nothing like that. Charisse just closed her eyes and that was all. So it seems to be that there's maybe two different types. It didn't seem like it was the same thing that of the regular peripherals that we see them in. Because Flynn, when she's in hers, it's her whole body starts. It looked like she was bleeding in her time. Her whole body shaking and she's getting hit with the thing and everything, right? But it seemed like with her, it just made her squint for a second, like, oh, and it was done. So, and hers was more robot acting like than this one. You know what I mean? I don't know if she truly was mentally melded into this robot more than she could just control or tell the robot what to do. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't seem like she was in there with that robot at that time. It did seem different to me. I don't know if y'all feel the same way, but to me, it did seem somewhat different. It didn't seem like it's the exact same thing going on there with that. Seemed like two different avatars. We're gonna call it peripherals. Say what up to some people here. John Haymaker has joined us here. What up, John? Thank you for rocking with us, man, on this show. Again, I'll say what up to my man Peter Griffin. Give him a shout out. We got super chat. Whoa, thank you so much from Jenna S. I have no idea what this is. I just support Tony. Have a great night. Everyone support the channel. Thank you so much, Jenna. You should watch the show then, Jenna. It's a really good show. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called The Peripheral. We're doing episode 4. Episode 4 drops. I'm telling you, if you put that show on right now on Amazon, Jenna, You're gonna watch all 3 episodes right back to back. It's a really good show. And if you're looking for something to watch, I strongly advise that you go watch this show. Thank you so much for the super chat. I truly appreciate it and everything else. John Haymaker asking, how are you? I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm good right now. I can't complain. You know what I mean? I cannot complain at all. Thank you. Thank you so much for asking. I'm feeling much better than I was before. I'm still 100% not over my cold, but I'm getting there. I'm much better than I was. So this is the best I've been in almost 3 weeks. So thank you for asking and everything else. Uh, Janice, she says, if you recommend that I shall spend my evening while I'm telling you, you got to give it a chance. You will like this show if you do. It's from the people who made Westworld, and it is a little freaky. There's a lot going on and a lot of mystery in it, and I think that you would like it. So yeah, I give it some shot. JTS616 is saying, good evening, everyone. What up to me? What up to you too, man? What's going on? And everything else. Yeah, I think a lot of people are sick right now. It's not just me. I think a lot of people got sick. I keep seeing people with colds and everything else and catching and everything else. But I'm telling you, Jen, if you watch this show tonight, you're gonna be in it. You're gonna be here next week talking all about it. Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. And it's hard to figure out right now exactly what's going on. So we'll be doing our best to figure it out and everything else and trying to get it going on and everything else like that. So that is what it is. Mm. Haven't drank a Rolling Rock in a long time. Only there's a reason why I drink this Rolling Rock. Only I know Phil knows. So let's not. Does anyone know why I am drinking this Rolling Rock? It was a show that was drinking Rolling Rocks, and I started drinking Rolling Rocks because of that show. I would do the live stream when that show come on, and they were always drinking Rolling Rocks, so I drank Rolling Rocks. But anyone know what that show was? All right, it's not. No, it's not Guys and Dolls. What are you talking about? All right, let's go through some more of these people that we have seen in the cast and everything else on the peripheral and everything else. So we talked about Burton. Let's go to the main character of Flynn and talk about and try to figure out exactly what's going on. And Peter Griffin is right. That's right. Mayor of Easttown. Mayor of Easttown was the show, and they drank Rolling Rocks, and I started drinking Rolling Rocks when I was covering that show. So I seen it when I went out to get some beer. I seen it, and I was like, I haven't drinking a Rolling Rock since Mayor of Easttown. Let me go watch it. Let me go grab one real quick for old time's sake and get my mayor on real quick and everything else. All right. Again, if there's any comments or you have anything questions, please put it in the chat. It's better for me to work off of your comments. It's easier for me to do that, to work off your comments. So when dealing with Flim, what do we know about Flim? Number one, we know that she's very good in video games, right? She's very good in video games. It's the video games, her doing these video games that has set her up. That's what made them believe that she could do this. We know that when you're in your avatar, you get like video game type powers. Oh, let's put that on there. You get like video game type powers, right? That's what it seems like that you get. All right. Peter is asking, do you think Burton seems a bit sus? He tried to get Flynn for a reason to put it on. So I think when it was coming down to it, he couldn't do what she did, right? Because she was using his avatar and he thought that it was going to be a game. And he couldn't score as high as she was scoring. So I think that he was thinking like, damn, I'm not. They're gonna know that I suck at this video game. So it's basically let me put it more like it's basically like, you know, he was like, listen, they're gonna figure it out that it wasn't me, that it was my friend. Well, in his case, his sister using my controller under my account, and they're gonna figure this out, and it's gonna blow the whole shit. So I got to get her to come in here and do it. So I think that's the reason why he did it, and that's why he was going in it. He is sus for the fact that he's spending this money so willy fucking nilly. You know, like he's spending this fucking money, giving $200,000 a week to this motherfucker. 200,000 a week to leave them alone. How much money did they give him? And now I'm gonna assume that $200,000 is not like $200,000 in our time, because they said one pill. How much did one pill cost? One pill cost like 10 G's or something like that. That his mom need. It was like 10 G's, or maybe I'm just saying 10 G's, but it was like 10 G's or something more like that, right? I didn't murder your daughter. I didn't murder your daughter. You murdered your daughter. He said lottery was only 250K. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How are they getting all of this money? Where is all this money coming from to buy the business, offer $200,000 a week? Phil is saying it was $1,000 for one pill. Right? These pills was a lot of money. That was a funny skit. If you never seen the Mayor of Easttown skit that they did on Saturday Night Live, that's what that skit was hilarious. That skit was hilarious. That really was. So in this time period, Farmer John is like a Farmer John is like a pharmacy. This is the only place you can get black market pills from this guy. This is the only place you can get it. And no, and you know what I mean? So these pills, where is he getting all this money? He's spending too much money, and he's printing 3D printing guns, military grade guns. How do you do that? It's weird to me that he's actually able to do that. I don't know how he's able to do that. 3D print these guns. So it's hard for me I don't know exactly where all this money comes. He hit that. They can't just be hitting the lottery every other day. They didn't explain exactly where all this money's coming. At least I didn't catch it. If anyone else caught it, let me know. Because I have no idea where he's getting all this money from. Now, Corbell, that motherfucker. It's funny. They make Corbell. They want Corbell to be this country, like this hillbilly, like he's like this hillbilly mafia guy, like the hillbilly mafia. You know what I mean? He gets the guys, the biker gang inside of the car. Oh, you can't shoot your way out. You can't do this. You can't. And then he just sits inside of there, and he just gets all hot and everything else. So Black Butterfly is saying it's for the job that's Flynn's doing, is they're getting paid for that they're paying him for that but how are they getting him the money? Are they just transferring it like a regular, how is he getting this money? Like, because we see that he had to hit the lottery in order, he had to hit the lottery in order for that not to look suspicious that he had all this money. And now all of a sudden he's just fucking stoked with cash. So how is he still getting that money? You know what I mean? That was the whole reason why they did the lottery. They didn't want to seem suspicious that we're gonna give you this money. We got to prove that we can give you this money. Here you go. We're gonna give you hit the lottery. Now all of a sudden they're just transferring this money to his account, and there's no red flags going on or anything else. It's just you can just transfer this money. If that's the way they're doing it, I don't understand why didn't they just do that from the jump instead of hitting the lottery? Why didn't they just say? I know they wanted to prove to them that they were really in the future. I can prove to you that I'm in the future. I can make you hit the lottery. Or something like that. All right, so Phil's like the guy that fights Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse. He could be him. That might be that motherfucker. But he puts the guys inside the car. I've never seen anybody execute anybody in that way. You watch TV shows and movies, and you say to yourself, you've seen just about everything. You've seen it all. Oh, this guy's got shot. This guy gets stabbed. You know all these things. You see these things. You know it all. But I have never seen anybody ever executed by heat inside of a car in all of the TV shows and everything else I've watched. I've never seen that. I've never ever seen it whatsoever. That was totally new to me. And it's hard for stuff to be new to me. Pontos is saying that they're using past reality to mine quantum crypto coins for the future. Hmm. Are they? I have to think about that. I've never heard that. Is that how they're making the money in crypto? It's crypto technology. Dogs and babies. Yeah, I've known it's dogs and babies have that like that in real life. We know that, right? But I've never seen it displayed in the show that's what's going on. Now, imaginary realm saying, did they say that there is now a new time? Yeah. So yes, so I do believe that they're going the route of the MCU at the way that they do timelines. Like once you change something, it branches off and creates a brand new timeline. I think that is. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I'm going with you, man. I'm just going with you. I don't know either. It sounds good though. I'll tell you that. So it seems like it splits off and branches off into a new timeline when you do certain actions. So the main timeline that they're on, now that they've changed it. But see, I thought that what they were trying to do was prevent it from actually changing it and doing it like that. The stuff that they were doing was trying to keep it on the same timeline. But they did say that it branched. It's just there's a lot going on in this show. It's a lot. It's a lot of different things going on at one time. It seems very simple, but when you really break it down and start trying to think about everything, it's hard. So I think that what we do have to look for is a peripheral in our modern time, in the modern time that they're there. I think that's one thing we have to look for. I'm telling you, someone is going to be, it's going to be this chick. Phil says, could this all actually just be a game? The whole original Total Recall What If? It could be a game, but it seems like that this future is fucked up. Future London is fucked up. And they're really just trying to, this woman is trying to prevent, I think, whatever occurred to fuck up this future. I think she's trying to prevent that from happening. If they did make it just a game, that would be a lost type of ending. If they came back in the end and said this was all a game, haha, none of this stuff is actually real, then I think it would be a bad ending. I think they did try to make you understand that it wasn't a game. Like when she first went into it thinking, oh my God, this is the greatest, this is the greatest Oculus Rift ever created, right? This is the greatest thing. And they wanted you to know that, hey, this ain't a game, this is real. So the fact that they stress that is going to make me say that this is not a game and this stuff is really real because that's what they stress. Could it be? Of course. But I think that that's what they wanted you to know. They wanted you to know that this was not a game, that this is really real. And that's what's going on here. So that would be the only thing that, and it seems like only the wealthiest people had. Oh, sorry. I now dealing with this whole. I like, you know, a lot. Some of these costumes I think are great. I think the technology of the that they're using for the robots is amazing. I think they're doing the special effects team is doing a lot of good there. You know what I mean? I truly do. The team that works with Wilf works with suspect, especially our suspect, especially the lead guy. Yeah, they definitely don't seem like the good people of the show, though they're supposed to be. You have the one woman here, you know what I mean? They have the one woman with the tattoos that can just change. I wish I had that technology to have a changing tattoo anytime you want. Amazing. I wish I had the technology. I would. And Fernandez T, what up to my brother Fernandez T? I see him in the chat. If you haven't watched this show, I highly suggest that you turn on your Amazon Prime stick or however you get Amazon Prime and go watch these first 3 episodes before the fourth one drops. If you start watching it, you're gonna keep watching them. I'm just telling you right now. It's gonna be White Lotus. We're going to be doing. Bridge already agreed to do live streams with me on the White Lotus. We'll be doing the White Lotus. Phil hopefully will join us on those. We'll be doing the White Lotus. I think that will be Wednesday. Tuesday nights will be White Lotus live streams. Wednesday night, House of the Dragon, and then Thursday night will be for the Peripheral. We're doing 3 streams a week every week. All right, that is the plan. We're gonna see if we can execute that. That's the plan, and everything else. All right. So, but yes, that guy, they definitely seem suspect there. They definitely don't seem like the normal good people that you would see in the show. Now, maybe it is a situation where they aren't that good people. They're going gray. All these people are gray and everything else. We're dealing with gray people here. You know what I mean? We're not dealing with people who are good or bad. Both have their points. I think they could be going with that style in it too, but they definitely seem to have their own motivations without a doubt. And if they're the ones fronting the bill, and you would say, hey, this is why they're fronting the bill. They want what they want. It seems to be incredibly wealthy. Wolf could be being used by them too. You know what I mean? Wolf it does seem like he's legit, but he could be being used. He may not know what they're doing. Also, he could be getting conned too, and we can't put that past it at all. You know what I mean? His name is Wolf. What is a wolf in sheep's clothing? Is that what's going on here with him? Could be a situation like that. It could be that his sister could be dirty. Who knows? It would. What if it turned out that they were all dirty and this chick really was the good guy in the end, and Flynn was working for the bad side right off the bat? That would be crazy. Peter Griffin saying, "Do you think we've already seen what Flynn took?" They brought it up already. I mean, they said it. You know what I mean? They said it specifically. So I would think they did because they said it. So would it happen? This you took something she wants back. He said it, so that means she has already taken it, right? So the fact that she said that means they already know that she took something. So we'd have to say she definitely took it. Now, did we see it? I don't know if we actually seen it. There's a couple of things. What did Flynn get? Flynn got an eyeball. We assume that eyeball was just to get inside of the places that she needed to get inside there, right? But it seems like Atia could have ran off with it and taken it. And they had, listen, and in Atia's place, right? I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but in her place, she had the full 3D model of Flynn's house, of Flynn's house with the little army soldiers of Burton and all them in there. Why does she need that? Did she send back those people? Because why did she have that and everything else? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Why did they have that model there? And why did she have Burton and all of them with their military gear? Did she send these people back to get her, to kill them? Was it her who did it? Why else would she have that there? Why would she have that? We didn't see anybody else with a model or anything else out there, but she had a direct model of exactly what was going on out there. How many people there were there? And she had them even posing with fucking beers in their hand and shit and everything. And how did she see that? You see, this is why I'm telling you that some of these people could have been. She was able to see all that from the future. How did she see all that to make this model? Right? How did she know? She's seeing inside of Flynn's clock, right? She knew what that time was on Flynn's clock to make it a code. So that means she was able to see inside of Flynn's house already, right? She's seen it. She was seen inside the house, and she was able to use that model. So how was she able to do that? How was she able to see inside of Flynn's house and know what that clock would be at that time, and that Flynn would know that time, and she could use that as a password? Althea. All right, Althea. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Althea. I said Atia. You know what Atia is? Atia is the woman from Rome. From Rome. If you ever watched the TV show Rome, that is the mother, Atia. Watch Rome if you haven't seen it. If you have Mark Anthony's woman. That's who it is. So those are some things that we have to think about. How did she see inside of Flynn's house? Unless someone else is a peripheral. Is it Burton? Is Burton the goddamn peripheral? I think everybody is, goddamn. I don't trust none of these motherfuckers anymore. I don't trust them. I don't trust anybody. Everyone's the mother's a goddamn peripheral. You don't know. The mother could have been dead. All of a sudden, she gets this pill or shot or whatever she took, and now all of a sudden she's good. She could have been dead the whole time, the mom. They could have swapped her mom's body out. She could be faking that shit. Fronting like she can't see. You have no goddamn, you have no idea. You know what I mean? You have no idea. But somehow she knew all this shit, and she knew that these were the people that she needed to do this, right? So, if she is, I wouldn't be surprised if she could tap into Burton's haptics. I wouldn't be surprised if she could do that too. That would explain the whole thing. If she was able to tap into the haptics and see through Burton's eyes, but Burton wouldn't even know she was there. He wouldn't even know that she was able to do that, that she couldn't, he couldn't feel that. That would explain everything, why she's able to see it, how she's able to see his friends, how she's able to do all that and everything else. But his friends, it didn't seem like they were hanging out forever, all the time. It seemed like they were right place, right time. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's definitely hard to say. Your friend's only friend is Connor on that. Listen, the black dude with the messed up legs and on that crazy ass motorcycle, whatever it is that just links up. That dude, that's my motherfucker right there. That's the one you don't want to fucks with, but he's gonna die. I guarantee he gets killed because he's too cool of a character. He's too cool. He's too cool. You know what I mean? He's too cool. He's gonna he's gonna have to they're gonna have to take him out. You can't have someone that cool. This doesn't work. He's gonna get taken out. Without a shadow of doubt. He's definitely gonna get taken out when it's all said and done. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you. You'll see. You'll see. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up because I've been on here an hour by myself. It's hard to do it by yourself and everything. I can go on and stuff like that, but we have a baseline of what we're looking for in this upcoming episode. Again, I'll be back next week. Hopefully, with Elamar will definitely be here. Hopefully, Phil will be rocking with us. Elamar will be here next week. We'll be here next week. We'll get this thing. We'll watch episode 4. We'll have someone to bounce stuff back and forth with. So most likely we'll do a longer show than 1 hour next week and everything else. All right. But we do have a baseline that we're going to go by. Let me change that thumbnail so it says episode 4. Let me get that thing going on there instead of episode 3. And I hope to see you all here next week. All right. We'll all get the names right by next week. It takes a little while. It takes a little while. I got a lot of shows in my head, man. I got a lot of shows in my head. All right. And we'll definitely be back here next week. So, hey, make sure you hit that like button so that it can be spread out to the certain people who are looking for stuff like this. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace.